Happy Mother's Day to all of our wonderful mummies. Boys and girls, remember to give your mummies a big hug and wish them Happy Mother's Day.
Huh?
Welcome to e-learning in Children's Church. How did you feel when the video started with me falling asleep? Did you feel very confused, like, oh, what's going on? Is Pastor Jasmine not ready for e-learning? Is she not prepared? Why is she sleeping? What's going on? Now, of course, you know that was an example. That wasn't that was intentional. That wasn't me really sleeping on the job. That was me trying to illustrate what it means to be prepared. Now you have a chance to experience what it feels like when someone is not prepared. In the same way, Jesus in Matthew is teaching us to be ready for Him. Remember that we are tracing Jesus' journey to the cross. And here we are going to continue to look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 36 to 51. Jesus is teaching His disciples about being ready and being prepared for Him to come back again. That's right, Jesus will be coming back again. And so here, let's find out a bit more about what Jesus has to say. In verse 36, Jesus answered His disciples, asking Him, "When will you come back again?" Jesus said, "No one knows about the day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." That's right, only God the Father knows when Jesus is going to return. Then what should we do if we don't know when Jesus will come back? That is in verse 42. "Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day the Lord will come." And that has to do with us being ready and being prepared. And that is why I demonstrated it for you at the start of the video. Because you would feel that I was not prepared when you started to play the YouTube. And then you saw me sleeping, isn't it? In the same way, when Jesus comes back again, He hopes that we are ready for Him. Let's take a look in verse 45 to 51, because Jesus used another parable to teach us about being ready. Do you remember about parables? That's right, they are stories that teach us spiritual lessons. Here, in verses 45 to 51, Jesus compared two different types of servants. The first type of servant is the faithful and wise servant.
"Here, this is for you."
"Oh, wow, thank you. I've prepared this for you too."
"Wow, thank you."
"You're welcome. Let's eat."
"Okay."
That's right, the faithful and the wise servant, like what you saw, they are faithful in carrying out the master's instructions. And the master's instruction here in verse 45 is to be in charge of the servants in the household and to give food at the proper time. And so, this is what it means to be faithful and wise servant. But how about the other type of servant? The wicked servant. Let's take a look. The master is not around and we can do what we want.
Yes, we can drink all day, all night.
Yeah!
Hey, don't break me!
The wicked servant says to himself, "Oh, my master will be away for some time. I can do what I like." And that's what happened that you saw in the video. Do you think that they are ready for the master when they come back, when the master comes back again? Of course not. In fact, the master will be very angry. when he comes back to find that his servants are not carrying out the instructions that he gave them. And so, in the same way, Jesus hopes that you and I would be like the faithful and wise servant, ready for him when he comes back again. But how do we be ready for him? We are going to learn more about that in a while. But first, let's take a look at this very interesting video that Uncle Patrick and his son Kokok Aiden put together for us to tell us the parable in a modern day Star Wars way. Let's take a look.
Son, where are you?
Daddy, I'm in a room.
Okay, I'm coming. Hey son, Daddy will be going to England for a business trip tomorrow.
When will you be back?
I'm not sure when I'll be back. Maybe earlier, maybe later. I may be back anytime.
Oh.
I would like you to do some things for me before I return. They are not difficult tasks, but it's something that you will have to do every day.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, remember son, you must take care of my plants by watering them every day. Secondly, you have to complete all your holiday homework. And lastly, please keep the house neat and tidy. Are you able to do that?
I guess so. It doesn't sound too difficult.
That is good to hear.
Bye, Daddy.
Okay, see you when I'm back.
Yay! Daddy is gone. England is so far away. He will not be back so soon. I have the house all to myself. Hooray! I shall play some games. Pew pew pew. Play game, play game, play game. Water the plant. There's always tomorrow. Forget about homework. Let's watch on YouTube.
I'm back. I wonder how's my son doing. Son, I'm home.
Dad is home? But it has only been 2 weeks. Oh no, he said that he will come back anytime. Ah!
What happened to my plant? Why is it dying? Son, why is the house so messy? What did I tell you to do before I left?
To water the plants, do my homework, and to keep the house clean.
Yes, that's right. But now I see dying plants, homework not done, and a messy house.
I was going to do them next week, but you came back earlier.
Okay, son, we have to be faithful with what is given to us. You're supposed to do these 3 things every day. Look at the plant. It did not have any water for 2 weeks, and now it has withered. Since you don't know when I'll be back, you should do the 3 things every day faithfully.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
The Bible also teaches us that in the same way we must be prepared for Jesus' return. No one knows when Jesus will come back, so we need to be faithful and do what He has told us to do.
I should have been faithful.
Yes, I'm glad you understand. Now, son, shall we clean up the mess at home and do your homework together?
Okay.
Hello children, I am Zhe Huimin and welcome to my home. This is my living room. And this is my study room. My study desk is very messy. And this is my bookshelf. You can see it. I love it so much. Okay, let me put down my phone for a bit. Okay, so today we learn from Matthew 24, verse 36 to 51 on how we must always be prepared for God. But how do we be prepared for God? Let me give you an example. In the morning when you wake up for the past few weeks, you have full HBL, right? So you will wake up and you will brush your teeth and you will comb your hair. You might even put on something nice.
Wow!
In case you are having Zoom with your teachers, and you will prepare the things that you need for the day, right? In the same way, how we prepare for our day, this is how we must also be prepared for God. But how do we prepare for God? Now, we prepare for God by living for Him in the present. And that is by being wise in how we spend our time and our resources. So let me give you an example on how to do that. So some of you may know that I am a teacher. So as a teacher, I have to prepare lesson plans, I have to do marking, and in this time period, I even have to have Zoom sessions with my students. So it is not easy, but I believe that God has called me into teaching and He has called me to love the children, my students. So today, we're going to interview two very special people, two special guests, and they will share with you how they have been living for God in their daily lives according to their jobs. And you will find that they actually learn along the way what God wants them to do. And you will also learn how they stay faithful to God. Okay, and first up we have Pastor Dong.
Boys and girls, I am Pastor Dong and I'm the Mission Pastor of LSBC. I would like to share with you how we can be prepared for the future by living for God in the present. When our church moved to Hougang in 1997, I was a businessman and I was actively helping the church staff team. In those days, our church had about 200 members, including children, and only about 5 to 6 full-time staff. Imagine 5 to 6 people trying to manage this big building and run the church at the same time. It was difficult, but it was also fun, as it was a brand new church building, something that we never had before. Then our church started to grow, and I could see that the staff team was really struggling to manage the building and run the church at the same time. That was when I decided to join the church office and help them. Because there was a need, and it was an urgent need, I decided to serve in the church office. I told our church leaders that I'm willing to try anything as the need in church was great. Little did I know that that was God's way of preparing me for His ministry. Today, I have served full-time in LSBC for more than 20 years. I've learned that as long as I keep being available and teachable, God can use whatever gift that I have for His kingdom purpose. This is how I live for God in the present, so that God can prepare me for the future. Thank you for tuning in. See ya.
Wow, what a wonderful sharing. Now, we're gonna listen next to Zhe Wenqi, who will share with us how she lives for God. Now, Zhe Wenqi is a doctor in a hospital here in Singapore. So let's hear how she lives for God.
Hi, good morning children. I'm Zhe Wenqi. I miss you guys so much, haven't seen you all in so long. So today, for those of you who do not know, I actually work as a doctor and I see patients when they come in sick at the hospital. Today I'm going to share with you more about my job and more importantly, how I do my best to live for God in my work. So recently, because of the coronavirus situation, many doctors, including myself, have had to work in the front lines and see patients affected by COVID-19. Night calls are also part of my work, and sometimes we stay up all night without any sleep to see patients. So all this can be very, very tiring, and both emotionally and physically. And many of my friends have asked me before, how do I do it? So this reminds me of a Bible passage in Matthew 36, where Jesus and his disciples were in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus went away to pray, but his disciples fell asleep when they were supposed to keep watch and pray. Jesus said, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." This reminds me of those times in hospital when I struggled to stay awake during my night calls. So even though I was very tired, but I chose to continue to stay awake because I am responsible for my patients, and I'm also very scared of being scolded by my boss. But this alone are actually not enough to sustain me, because after all, I am only human, and it is easy to become sian, become lazy, and just give up when I'm very tired, or if my patients are very, very difficult. So I thought about it, and there has to be something more that keeps me going, and that is answering the call from God to serve the sick and to show them God's love. We may not always be able to cure our patients and all illnesses 100%, but we can show our patients that we care. So children, today I just want to encourage you that even though we do not know the time or the hour when Jesus will return, but we know that Jesus has died on the cross so that we can have life and have it to the fullest. So I pray that you will choose to spend your time wisely and you live for God in everything that you do.
Now you have heard these interviews from Teacher Wen-Qi, Pastor Dong and myself, and we have shared with you how we live for God in our daily lives. And you might be wondering, how do I live for God in the present when I'm just a student? I go to school every day. Now, do not underestimate your role as a student. Now, your role as a student, you need to be very faithful in what you are doing. You can continue to be faithful in what you're doing, and you just work hard at staying close to God, building your relationship with God, and being obedient. All these things will help you along the way, and that's how you be prepared for God for now. And who knows, in the future you might be called to become a missionary like Pastor Dong, a doctor like Teacher Wen-Qi, or even a teacher like me.
Boys and girls, this is such an important lesson for you and I today, that we need to be ready and prepared for Jesus when He comes back again. Because we don't know when He will come back again, so we need to be prepared by living for God in the present time, right here, right now. And just like any other week, we have our online worksheets and also the PDF versions of our worksheets if you would like to print it out instead. So continue on with the learning by doing the worksheets. We will see you on e-learning in Children's Church next week. Bye-bye!